So we're just going to start by pointing out what you guys already know, right? That the Democrats, Biden and AOC, are gaslighting Americans. They're trying to pretend that everything is now awesome, like the Lego movie. Everything is great and rainbows and ponies because Biden came in and he has exceeded our expectations, according to AOC. So Time Magazine, of course, along with them is their mainstream media narrative managers and public relations specialists that are pretty much throwing out this narrative that Biden is just, you know, the most amazing guy. So let's start off with this Times article. They start by saying that it's a deeply progressive agenda put forth by a man who was a middle of the road Democrat for most of his career. And Jim Clyburn said, I really kind of thought he would be much more of a traditionalist. And he said, though I am very pleased and excited. So how is the one-time deficit hawk who supported Ronald Reagan's tax cuts now drawing comparisons to presidents like Franklin Delano Roosevelt and Lyndon B. Johnson? So this whole article is basically a love affair poem. It's like a love poem to Joe Biden and the administration, talking about Biden's past and his policy, right? And now all of a sudden he's being compared to FDR. And they go on to say it's also true that the country has changed. For much of Biden's Senate career, politics increasingly demanded a commitment to minimizing the government's role in limiting spending, at least in principle. So this is the second picture. During the Reagan and Clinton years, Biden understood the country had turned right and that Democrats had to be more restrained in their objectives. And that a former director of the federal Richard Nixon Presidential Library said that. And he also said that Biden has a sense that this is a period where it's possible to get more from the Democratic agenda. So Biden all of a sudden has a sense that he can get everything. He's being compared to FDR. Look at him. We thought he was going to be more of a middle of the road guy, but look at him now. He's just a wonder. He's going progressive. He's just like FDR.
Malarkey.
They continue. So far, Biden's bets seem to be paying off. Really? His approval rating, this is the part I wanted. This is hilarious. Has hovered in the mid-50s, according to Gallup, which trails many of his predecessors, but is a strong mark in this polarized political climate. Trump never cracked 50%. They put that in there.
Yeah.
Okay. First of all, even if Trump never cracked 50%, which I think he did, I think you're just pulling the wrong people. But let's say he cracked 50% or around. You're saying Biden's approval ratings in the mid-50s, and you're celebrating that. That's literally like, no, it's a difference of an error, like a plus or minus. It's ridiculous. So they're continuing to talk about that. And yeah, I mean, this is how the media now, you know, the Times is still regarded as like something that, you know, oh, if you know what's going on, you read the Times. Still, for a lot of people that are older than myself, like this is what they still cling to.
Not for me though, fam. I know it's full of malarkey and stuff
you
like
know.
that. And the Times Magazine article also put out what happened to the elections and whatnot. The cabal of elitists. We talk about that. If this was done in any other country, to be like, those people have committed treason.
Yeah. Like
really, but actually they just painted it all with roses and whatnot. And you know, here's Time Magazine doing the same thing.
So yeah, so as you guys can see, they're absolutely gaslighting everybody. And now the other thing I want to point out is actually what's going on, because a lot of people were saying that Biden was going to take naively, right, that he was going to keep to his word like he always has done, and get rid of the troops in Afghanistan. Well, this is antiwar.com's Twitter, right? And they said that the Pentagon deployed additional forces to Afghanistan over fears of Taliban attacks. Now, the Taliban is all of a sudden attacking, so they're deploying additional forces. Yeah. You see, didn't we tell you?
21 years, fam.
Didn't we tell you they were going to expand it 6 months, not only for the jingoistic desire of 9/11 anniversary, but also because they wanted to have time to find an excuse to either keep more troops there or send more troops there.
Yeah. Please go on, because we have some other stuff that will kind of back this up. But
so the just to reiterate, the U.S. is sending B-52 bombers to Afghanistan and keeping an aircraft carrier in the Gulf. And you guys can look into that. It's right there. There's an article that's linked to it. And here is Biden once again saying doing the whole squad thing, right? They'll tweet things like, we need to help poor people, but they don't do anything to actually do it. So here he is, April 27th. I believe no one should work full time and still live in poverty. That's why today I raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour for people working on federal contracts. Oh, okay. So instead of doing what I ran on, and I have the numbers and I have both houses, I could actually pass a $15 minimum federal wage across the board. I can do that. I'm the president of the United States. No, I'm going to pretend that I'm giving you something and just say, oh, but it's only for these people. That's a very small amount of people. Most people I know don't work for the government.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, Shauna Burley, friend of the show, she said, Joe will give you a raise if you work for the war machine. That's it.
I mean, pretty much.
Fire, Shauna. And that's the truth. A federal contract. So if you don't, and how many federal jobs are there out there? It's got to be less than 10%, I believe, the last time I checked. So basically, ugats, nobody. You're not getting a raise.
And another thing that, I mean, it sucks that we have to point this out here. I would love to, not focus on Biden, but people don't even get how he's gaslighting, because when you talk to the majority of Americans that aren't in our political sphere, they're like, well, at least it's pre-K. So this is what Biden's doing. So Biden proposed a $200 billion in education funding, okay, that is going to direct funds towards universal pre-K. And this is for 3 and 4-year-olds. This is going to be through a national partnership with the states. And so everybody's like, oh my God, Biden's giving pre-K. He said he was going to do student debt forgiveness for up to $50,000. And people were like, we need to do the whole thing. And he was like, no, we'll do $50,000. He's even backed off that. He's not even doing that anymore. And do you think people aren't going to notice? Yeah, some people are going to completely just, be like, oh, well, whatever. Yeah. They're not going to do it. And that's just, whatever. It sucks. No, dude, you cannot do that anymore. You have to demand better.
Well, it's also too, fam, people aren't talking about it, that not only are they not forgiving it, they're allowing the student loan companies, the third factor down the road, you know what I'm saying? Because they sell these loans off, to go hit your credit now as well. So they had a hold off under Donald Trump, and my credit score was rising as soon as he went in, the administration went not, and there was no student debt forgiveness. Here comes these school loans trying to come back and collect on what you owe. Literally lowered my credit score by like 75, 80 points. That's out of insane. The blue. And I've contacted for my loan to see what's going on. It's like, hey man, we want our money. I'm like, dude, we're not even out of the pandemic yet. And you know what I'm saying? I can't even buy toothpaste to brush my teeth. And you want to sit there and you want to sack my credit and make it harder to get out just so they could use that as a mechanism to pay, or will ruin your life. I mean, it's disgusting. It
is disgusting. And just once again, back to the whole war machine, juxtaposing what we spend in on education and all of these things, right? Because Joe Biden, of course, was the one, if you recall, who made it possible for you not to be able to file a bankruptcy for your student loans bill. Yeah. With the bankruptcy bill. So Public Citizen said, breaking, Biden proposes a 753 what is that?
Billion.
1, 2, 3 billion Pentagon $billion.
Was that trillion? It's a billion. It's billion.
No, is it
billion? Nine is billion. Yeah.
Okay, because it could be trillion.
Give it 200. All we need is 247 more billion.
Like, how many zeros?
We'll get to your trillion. We're not there yet, though. But go ahead.
Okay, an increase from last year's budget. This was published earlier this month, like weeks ago, and most people, I guess, didn't really pay attention. He's giving all this money to the Pentagon,
to the war
machine. Wait, can we get a little bit of that for, student debt relief for many? Nah. You know why?
More than the next 11 countries combined.
You know why it doesn't matter how many times you call, because this is systemic. This is like they have zero interest in working with you here. So that's that. And then Kamala Harris, of course, another one that is playing into this whole narrative management. She told the Guatemalan president to his face, and this one irritated the hell out of me, right, fam? Because she's telling the people in the Northern Triangle, the people who we literally sanction, created regime change, ousted their democratically elected leaders, and then, of course, led to massive economic crises, civil wars in the country. And now all these people are coming here only to be treated like it's their fault for coming here and for, you know, like their country's situation, and to be gaslighted into thinking that this is going to be better under the Biden administration when it hasn't been. So here she is telling the Guatemalan president to his face that political corruptions, violence against LGBT people, and Afro descendants are some of the root causes of migration to America. Let's hear her audacity.
There are also long-standing issues that are often called the root causes of immigration. We are looking at the issue of poverty and the lack, therefore, of economic opportunities, the issue of extreme weather conditions and the lack of climate adaptation, as well as corruption and the lack of good governance, and violence against women, indigenous people, LGBTQ people, and Afro descendants. There are also long-standing issues.
Okay. Well.
Oh, fam.
So there she is. I mean, completely not recognizing what Joe Biden's administration, of course, as VP, right, under Obama, and of course, Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State, what they did. So that goes to show you, why isn't she going to say that? Because it's the same fucking people in power. All they did was transition it into the Obama administration 2.0.
Yeah.
This is something that I pointed out, right? Later on, we'll show this video where I talk about that.
Yeah. I just want to point out that once again, we've talked about this so much. I think this is really at the core of the Convo Couch. One of the things we talk about other than elections is the fact we talk a lot about foreign policy and what leads to immigration in the global South. And, 1951 to 1954, they removed the socialist president so the UFC, the United Fruit Company, could go in there, steal their resources and give it just to corporations rather than the people being able to capitalize off all the money for education, healthcare, whatnot. And we've been doing this shit for so long. So it's just, once again, we're coming to full circle. This is the North Triangle. And here we are. For her to say that shit and not talk about the fact that we're in there 24/7 with our bases, with weapons deals, just like El Salvador, just like Honduras, it's disgusting. And we need to really put shine a light on this. And this is something we have to shine a light on for a lot of our conservative brothers and sisters who are like, oh, we need to build a wall. There's too much immigration coming in. Well, why? Why? Because our military, our foreign policy. And when you put up a tweet right there, $753 billion used for that. Okay, that money has to go to something. So stop avoiding the fact. And I'm talking now to a lot of conservative people out there who think that our foreign policy doesn't lead to migration. You're wrong. You're simply wrong. It does. And that's why they keep coming here, because we keep screwing up their country. And for Kamala, first of all, she's terrible in foreign policy, fan.
She doesn't know anything.
She's terrible. So for her to sidestep it, it's just disgusting. Yeah. And it's, once again, meet the new boss, same as the old boss, same people running this country.
And so another person, of course, that we have been on, and this happened Friday. So the reason it's Wednesday in Primary is because late Friday it happened after we did our show.
Yep.
And I was really irritated when I heard this, but it's just, again, thank you, AOC, for continuing to prove this unmasking. I'm sorry. I feel bad for all the people who believed in you, including us, who fundraised for you and did all these things for you. But I don't understand why people can't just say, oh shit, okay, we got duped. We thought she was going to be something she wasn't. It's okay to fucking admit it. We were wrong. We thought we put in our faith in a person because we thought, this person's young. They haven't been screwed like the way, career politicians have. And guess what? She's a Bernie supporter. And that was when we were still Bernie supporters, and all of these things have happened. Like, what has happened in the span of months? And, it has been crazy where we've gone from supporting AOC and Bernie to saying that they're cucks for the Democratic Party, which they are now officially 100%.
For the establishment, fam.
Yeah, for the establishment. But but they're under the guise of the Democratic Party. And so here is, I want people to, I say, stop defending this, because people are still defending that this is manipulative to me, because it's gaslighting. Yeah. It's not just saying, oh, like, it's not even flat out lying. She's gaslighting people knowing that this isn't true. I can't believe that I ever donated to this person. And she says Biden has definitely exceeded expectations that progressives had. A lot of us expected a much more conservative administration. Let's hear what she said.
One thing that I will say is that I do think that the Biden administration and President Biden has definitely exceeded expectations that progressives had. I'll be frank, I think a lot of us expected a much more conservative administration. And I think that not only what has ultimately come out, but the active invitation and willingness and collaboration with progressives in his first 100 days or almost 100 days has been very impressive. And so while there are there are areas where there are just plain areas of disagreement, I think that the actual conduct of the administration has absolutely been in good faith, but not just in good faith, but active incorporation of progressive legislation. And also for those of us individually, I can at least say that there has been a lot of openness and willingness and flexibility in incorporating many of our goals, requests, demands, etc. And I think that it has been to the benefit of the country.
Okay, so first of all, before I let you say anything, I'm just gonna go and say this. You guys recall when they were forming these committees, right? And Bernie Sanders was trying to get some of his people in there. And when you look at who was in these committees, it was literally like John Kerry and a bunch of shit libs. And AOC was like, oh, see, they're allowing. That's when I was like at that point where like, are you kidding me? No, nobody that's actually going to fight for anything is in these committees. Yeah. So from the get-go, that was never going to happen. They were never at all cooperative with the Bernie contingent of the Democratic wing. And then of course those people didn't even fight back enough. The people that were already in there, they didn't even say, oh, we're not gonna do this unless Biden does this and that. They didn't fucking hold off on their like, they were supposed to be the ones that were gonna say, you know what, we're not going to allow this to go further unless Biden gives us this. And then Biden was supposed to give a $15 minimum wage, student debt forgiveness. I think he went from a Medicare for all, which he talked about a public option, to a public option. He did none of it. What progressive? Checks. I'm sorry. What actual advancements have we gotten? How is he cooperating with progressives if he literally shit on everything they wanted? Yeah. This is so elementary to me. Like, I don't even want to be talking about this. This is so fucking stupid. Yeah. I'm just like, I cannot believe people still defend this woman. Like, what is it in you that thinks this is just like us criticizing her because we don't like her? Somebody sent me a message like an hour ago, like, why are you so hard on AOC? She's trying her hardest. I thought it was a joke, but it wasn't. Yeah. Like, I don't like, this is a public servant. And yes, she may not be my congresswoman, but she's one of the most influential congresspeople out there. She is going to be the next generation's like Nancy Pelosi. And yes, if I fucking donated to her, if I organized to get people to fundraise for her, you bet your ass I'm going to go after her when she's fucking gaslighting people. When she starts talking about the kids in cages being different in flux facilities, you think that doesn't piss me off? Like, as an immigrant, are you fucking kidding me? Like, she's just full of shit. It's just so disgusting. And the fact that I get even more angry is when I go to a place where conservatives think the left is her. And it's not. And I want to squash that right now. She does not represent the left. She does not represent anti-imperialist. She doesn't represent anything remotely progressive. And she's basically just doing narrative management for Biden.
This Wednesday on Fee Rants, Fee goes off on AOC. I mean, really, that was just awesome what you just said over there. And I mean, two things I want to do real quick. I just want to point out, fam. Yeah. Just put up the picture right now. Look at her face. Ladies and gentlemen, she knows she is lying to you. Look at her face. She knows she is gaslighting there. You can see it. It's written all over her face. I mean, that Oz knows that song. We're old, right, Oz? So you know that stuff. But look at it. She knows, and she's developed the Kamala laugh lately, the tick and whatnot. This is the part of the CIA program or whatever, wherever this woman came from. Call me a conspiracy theorist, call me whatever you want. Shanda would back me up on those words. This is the part of the duping the people and the propaganda to the people where it's written all over her face. She knows she's lying. And third, fam, I just want to talk about, really, you pointed it out, and I've been saying this. People tell me, what has Biden done? What has he done? You'll see all these people, including this next tweet right here. We have AOC, Bernie Sanders. They're the most transformative president administration. We've gotten much more out of the Biden administration. They've worked with progressives. He's the best administration since FDR. What, ladies and gentlemen? We've gone backwards on foreign policy. Our foreign policy has been a joke. What we did to Russia right out of the gate was disgusting. Saber rattling with the other guys who have the most nuclear bombs. I mean, right out of the gate, Blinken, Sullivan, they embarrassed themselves, and it's a different Russia nowadays after the 4 years they've been gone. We've gone backwards when it comes to civil liberties. 16 million that the big tech gave Biden, it's showing all over the place as they're censoring people left and right. And then you have all your managers out there, your stenographers. Here is Bill Maher, who went back to being Bill Maher again. And once again, pay attention. Let me know if he mentions any policies or actual things that Biden has done other than the fact that you get the lip service. Milli Vanilli over here. Let's go.
New rule 3 months into his presidency, it's time to admit that Joe Biden has been a huge disappointment to comedians. All the jokes we were stockpiling about ancient, doddering, sleepy Joe, useless. The man has been nothing short of sharp, focused, and completely on top of things. We were expecting a font of comedy gold about a senile geezer showing up to work in his pajama bottoms and plowing his motorcade into a farmer's market. Forget the dog, he was going to bite someone on the South Lawn. But a funny thing happened on the way to the old age home. Biden slayed the orange dragon and is now spearheading the most transformative administration since FDR, with an approval rating of 59%. Even the Joe Biden tics and gaffes that used to bug us, the hair smelling and the getting lost in a sentence and the challenging of random people to a fight in the parking lot. Gone. Biden stepped up his game. Yes, he got better at 78. What a mind-blowing concept that must be to the younger generations for whom writing someone off simply for their age is the last acceptable prejudice.
It seems like that's the last ploy once again, so that you can't have any criticism of anybody whatsoever, right? He weaponized that shit, and he went on to bash communism and socialism and think once again that that's all the youth wants. It's a dumb idea. How dare you attack him from his age? Hey, asshole! Most of the people who were kind of really critical about Joe Biden's dementia were Bernie supporters. Bernie is older than Joe Biden. So don't tell us really right now it's about ageism and stuff. And it just made me want to kick myself in the head because I would use that joke with Fiorella and Jonny and be like, hey guys, don't say that. That's ageism. And I was only joking all the time. But the fact that Bill Maher really went there to weaponize the fact that you can't even criticize Joe Biden because he's lost most of his mental faculties is disgusting.
Yeah, it's just more gaslighting by the way, by this guy. I mean, it's just they're right there. It's the same kind of narrative. Joe Biden has been great. He, only comedians have lost out. No, zero proof or evidence or receipts to back what he's saying because he's not a journalist. He's an entertainer. Bill Maher, I mean, he's just, a paid propagandist. That's all he is. And so he doesn't have the receipts, right? But really, Joe Biden has absolutely continued in his like his whole spiel. His whole thing has always been to backtrack from everything he has ever said. So he runs on something and then he backtracks and does the opposite, or his record shows that he has been lying for 48 years. So when I went to the Better Discourse, somebody clipped up this piece. I think it was a Better Discourse myth-informed Mike clipped this up, and of course Niko retweeted it. This is what I said. In 48 years, we've never seen Biden not backtrack on his promises. So let's just watch what I say so we can, discuss.
To be clear, I'm pretty sure Biden's infrastructure bill earmarks like hundreds of billions of dollars towards like greenifying like parts of the U.S. economy, whether you're talking like infrastructure, whether you're talking about new jobs created in green energy. So I don't think it's totally fair to say Democrats aren't addressing the jobs part of like green energy at all. Like that bill is a ton marked for like green related industry.
I don't honestly think it is. I think it's just all talk. I haven't seen Biden in the last 48 years actually like not backtrack from everything he said. He's been lying for the last 48 years. His whole administration is the Obama administration put back in place. They are destroying our foreign policy. They are not going to get out of Afghanistan. They're going to privatize the troops. This is not a man that I trust. And also, by the way, he's not specifying where these jobs are going to go. It's really easy to say, oh, I back union leadership, I back jobs, but then what you're backing is the corrupt union leadership, and you're not doing anything for the workers. And that is also a problem that I see in unions, is like we have to look at how unions have become mini corporations, and that's why a lot of people don't want to join them. We have to address those systemic structural issues that include our infrastructure.
While that's true, to be clear.
Wait 1 second. That's not exactly what I meant there, fam. If I can just go back and say something and stuff like that. Destiny, ladies and gentlemen.
So I don't know. Somebody has that whole thing up. I think he did. He unlisted it, by the way, from his. I wonder why. I don't know. Yeah. But look. So Biden has backtracked. We know this. And what I meant about unions, right? Like the PRO Act. The PRO Act is basically, first of all, like what Brianna Joy Gray said. You need the filibuster with the PRO Act. 1, 2. Like I said, there's really nothing there that guarantees an ability for the workers to get power. It's for the union leadership to get power. Again, unfortunately, because of the system we live in, a lot of unions have become mini corporations. Okay, they're small, they operate like corporations. And so a lot of that union leadership is corrupt. So when Biden went out there saying, oh, I support Amazon workers' ability to unionize, he doesn't, because that goes against all the money and all the assets he's subservient to. He's not really supporting that. He's supporting it in name, and is going to support these policy positions that strengthen the workers' reliance on this their bosses, and then has the facade to say, oh, you can strike, but only if it's approved by the union leadership, not a wildcat strike. That's what we need. We need more of that. But again, like Joe Biden has been lying, and one of the weaknesses of the Green New Deal is it doesn't specify exactly where all these jobs are coming from, how you're going to do this. And that's a weakness that the Republicans often attack. Like, if you're thinking about strategy here, why would I give them a reason to attack something? Why don't we just lay out specifically how we're going to get these people to work? They don't do that. And that's where the Democrats have lost a lot of the working class, especially in the Midwest and the South, because they spew all this jargon, but they never actually have anything tangible to show for it.
Yeah. And also too, the whole throwing out like this whole gaslighting people and stuff, like, Bill Maher, all these guys, they don't mention policy and whatnot. Destiny attempted to mention some policy that he's not sure about, policy that the whole bill hasn't been released completely, policy that is going to be filled with nothing but pork, and policy that is not going to make it all the way through the way they want it to. And if it's a resolution like the Green New Deal, it doesn't really mean anything anyways. Yeah. So for him to bring up this whole infrastructure bill that it's going to be all green and whatnot and stuff like that, there's more pork in it than ever can be. The Democrats never put forth bills nowadays that are simple, easy for the public to understand. Instead, it seems like the lobbyists write their bills and hand it over to them. So you best believe in an infrastructure bill by Joe Biden and his administration, it's going to be a lot of giveaway to all their friends, all their Clinton Foundation people. people. They've shown this history before, fam. It doesn't ever actually go to the main goal. It goes to people around them who are just skimming off the top.
And it's not even just the Democrats. It's the whole establishment. Like they're literally the whole Green New Deal is backed by corporate interests. They're never going to allow something like that in the system we're in. That's what people need to realize. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, I started out thinking, hey, if we do implement this, then understanding what's going on is the fact that this is systemic. So if you want these things to happen, you have to change the whole system. And when you're putting in a Green New Deal that sounds good on paper, but is backed by corporate interests, you're basically just giving away the whole climate justice to corporate interests that aren't really going to do anything to help out.
Exactly. They're going to worry about their bottom line, their dollars and cents. And the Green New Deal doesn't mention anything about foreign policy and the bombs that are dropped and how that affects the ozone layer, except how Elizabeth Warren did come along with green new bombs as well.
And Israeli tech.
And Israeli tech. And also, too, as well, we never talk about the fact that geoengineering is never even brought to the table, too, as well. Don't want to talk too much about that because I don't want to get taken down. But those are my final statements. Oz, you've been listening to that whole segment. You've been giving us thumbs up. You've been giving middle fingers to AOC and all these other people. You got any opinions upon this? Is Joe Biden done something for us that I've missed?
No, Joe's not doing anything. He's supposed to be carbon neutral by 2020. Are you kidding me? He can't even get the infrastructure bill 1/4 or 1/5 of what it needs to be. So no, he's not doing anything. He's playing at it. It's all PR. The Democrats are going to get slaughtered in 22 and 24, and that's the end of it. Sorry.
Sums it up.
There's Oz for you, baby. Love you, Oz. Your hair looks beautiful today, by the way, and stuff like that. Anytime you want to throw yourself on to show the good people at home, please do so. We love ourselves some Oz over here.